to prime time.
Welcome to Prime Time. I'm your host, Hunter Chambliss. I'm joined by my co-host. Supposed to be Chad and Carrie, but their screen is off for some reason. You guys okay? Oh, not Ghostface. Roger Jackson, what are you doing here?
We might need to charge that. I always had a thing for you, Hunter.
I know you did, Chad. What's up, guys? There's Chad and Carrie. We are here to do our Scream 7 spoiler discussion, and in honor of the 30th anniversary of the original Scream, we are doing our Scream ranking, including Scream 7. I am super excited to get into this discussion.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be a Scream video if we weren't also ranking the Screams. I think we do that every single time we talk about Scream. Yeah. Because honestly, these movies, I think they're all so good, you know, with like differing kind of quality levels and differences of opinions that like we can never make up our damn minds on, you know, where these movies fit. I know Carrie was struggling just recently trying to put her damn list together. But yeah, I'm excited because the world has now seen Scream 7 and it's divisive. It's a very divisive movie.
Very divisive film.
Yeah. I think more so, I don't know. I feel like whenever a Scream movie comes out after the second one, maybe even including the second one, it's very divisive at first. And then when the next one comes out, fans are like, oh, well, all the rest of them are great, but then this new one is horrible. And so I think it just, maybe this is probably at the time of release, maybe one of the most or the most divisive, but I don't know. I think long-term folks might feel differently, especially if we get more movies after this.
Exactly. I don't use Rotten Tomatoes to judge my quality of film anymore. I used to, but this one is currently the lowest of the franchise, sitting at 31% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which was surprising. And I didn't know what to think about this one. I was very excited. As you know, if you haven't seen it on the channel, we did our kind of like anticipation video where we talked about, what we thought 7 could be, showing a little bit of our excitement. And then like before we got to see it, all we saw was just a bunch of negative reviews coming out. And I can fairly say we all went to see it like not too long after that. And we were all pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was pleasantly surprised. I would say that as a Scream movie, I absolutely loved it. As a Scream fan, I loved it. But this is the one where I really had an issue with the reveal. And I can't wait to get into it to talk about it.
We'll get there. I think this movie is very interesting on a lot of levels because, it's kind of like a shift from what we're used to. Like we got the original trilogy and then, a decade later, we got a fourth one. And then that's kind of became like a redheaded stepchild. Because a decade later, we would get another duology that was supposed to be a trilogy. And then now this is kind of like an orphaned one that has like some of the characters from the recent Radio Silence films. It was like partly written by, Radio Silence, members, right?
And, yes, it was co-written by Guy Busick.
Yeah. And then now we have the like father figure, one of the two father figures of the franchise, directing with Nev, as like a big producer,
Mhm.
kind of like putting this whole thing together and, having questions of, stuff with Stu and, stuff with Nev and her daughters and who's Mark? Is it Mark Kincaid or is it a different Mark?
It was supposed to be Mark Kincaid. That one has been confirmed, but Patrick Dempsey was asked to come back and he declined. So
Yeah. And other questions of, are we going to see like a surprise return from, one of the performers who stepped away? And it turns out, the only kind of connection we get from the Radio Silence movies were Chad and Mindy.
Mm-hmm.
well, that and I mean, this is not really a big spoiler. They do mention the New York incident, aka Scream 6. So
It's,
I I
it's
I like how they tied.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
pretty big part of like the motivation of at least one of the killers.
yeah.
Um, if there are multiple killers. So we haven't really talked about spoilers, so maybe we should just kind of give like our general thoughts and then just go dive into a straight up spoiler
Mhm.
discussion. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually have a written review because I feel like I had to get my thoughts out there. So if you guys don't mind, I'd like to start with this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I said Scream 7 is a good entry in the classic slasher franchise that I'm a huge fan of. I love the callbacks to the original movies. I love the new setting and getting to experience the new life with Mother Cindy. And I love the new final girl and Isabel May's character, Tatum. There are so many intense chase scenes that left me on the edge of my seat, but this is the most divisive film in the Scream series, and it's for the ending, which is where we get into my negatives. The killer reveal and the motivation, in my opinion, was very lackluster, and there are some questionable decisions made, but overall, I really enjoyed Scream 7 and look forward to seeing it again.
Yeah, I mean that's a good review. I personally don't necessarily agree with everything you said, but a
Mhm.
lot of it is definitely tracks for what we got. I mean, it makes sense that this one is very divisive because it goes in a different direction than, I think people were wanting with the previous films. And
Mhm.
so in a way it's like a return to form, but also kind of something that we've never really seen before in a Scream film too. So because of that, I think it's very fascinating. You get like an opening scene that doesn't really seem to be connected to much, and then you get a really cool uh, ending that's really divisive. But in the middle, I think at its core, it's just a great story about mother-daughter relationship,
Mhm.
and them like being able to find out how to talk to each other and relate to each other. And I think that's where a lot of people who call this one of the worst movies they've ever seen kind of missed out on, where it's like it actually does have something to say. And I think it says it really well. Also, I think it has a little bit something for everyone. If you love kills, it has a lot of really great kills.
One of my favorite kills in the entire franchise is in this
That's
movie, actually.
that's a lot of really great suspense. And I maybe would have liked a little bit more character development for some of the minor characters, but
Mhm.
overall, I think this one's really fun.
Yeah, this was a good time. It's a good Scream movie. If you like the Scream movies, I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Scream movies, and I thought it was on par with pretty much all the other Scream movies that have come out after the second one. I don't think it's my favorite franchise, so I love every movie in
Mhm.
this franchise, but I don't think every single Scream movie is an absolute masterpiece. Did this have flaws? Yes, but I feel like most Scream movies have flaws, and the
Mhm.
motivations of the killers tend to be one of the weakest points, and
Mhm.
the feasibility that the people who are the killers did the kills is also one of the biggest
That
points.
one I don't have a problem with because to me, once the ghost face mask comes on, they're a different person. They are
Yeah,
a 6'5" stunt dude, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought we saw this in theaters. Our theater was like an extremely fun crowd, clearly had
Same.
well versed in the Scream franchise. We were all cheering and having a fantastic time. And I think that's what this movie, I think it's a fun movie. I think it has a lot of heart, like with Nev Campbell and Isabel May. I think they I think they were like a great mother-daughter pair, and just like I liked how this movie, we've already dealt with Sydney trying to overcome her trauma in Scream 3 and even a little bit in Scream 4. I think this movie does a good job of balancing, like she's kind of gotten over a lot of that. She's almost accepted that this is like how her life is probably going to be, and she's trying to protect her kids, but you know, her trying to actually deal with it now that, you know, her oldest daughter is older and everything. I don't know. I thought it was a cool concept, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I don't know. I think if you go into it not reading a lot of the negativity around it and just go into it as like expecting a fun Scream movie, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and I just to add, speaking of Nev kind of like getting over her trauma, I think this kind of shows like a little bit of you never really get over your trauma. You always carry it, you know, through your life, and you know, might pass on to your kids, but then also maybe there's some backlash for you trying to heal. And there's always people who might try to take advantage of anything. So I look forward to getting into that. But before we jump straight into spoilers, I did want to add, Carrie and I did have such a blast at our screening that we were wondering if we were going to go see it again the next night. And then like right after we were done watching this, I looked at Carrie and I was like, so do you want to go see this again? She was like, yeah. We just really enjoyed it, and we were like, yeah, this would be a great one to go see again. So that's what we did. We saw it in IMAX, then we saw it in Dolby.
So did I. So good in IMAX. The opening scene in IMAX was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, with that, let's just go ahead and do our blanket spoiler warning now, because we are just trying to dive deep into this one, because we're going to have, I think, a lot of agreement here, but maybe a little bit of disagreement, and just trying to like clarification of like what things might mean and stuff. So if you haven't seen Scream 7, go see Scream 7.
I just went ahead and put the banner up. That way they can see it.
And then come back and join us in the spoiler section after you've seen it. And then if you have seen it, welcome. Let's talk spoilers.
All right.
Where do we start? I think we start with the opening scene. So I guess I'll just lay it out real quick. It's an Airbnb at Stu Macher's house. Apparently, you can actually go to this Airbnb. I don't know if they actually filmed at the real Airbnb or if they recreated it.
I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure they went there and filmed like at the actual house.
That's what I thought they would have done. But yeah, they do that, and then the couple goes. It's really fun because they're like talking about the whole franchise as they're walking through, like, oh, this is where Sydney pops out with the umbrella. Oh, this is where Richie died. So they're like really talking about the whole franchise. And then these kids are not fated to survive.
No, they're opening kill.
Yeah, I will say I also noticed a detail very early on. And now I've only watched the movie once, so the more I go by and watch it, the more I'll get more details. But if you listen to the radio at the very beginning of the movie as they're driving, they mentioned that Stu Macher was sighted at Windsor College at a frat party. Yeah. So I like that they took the Matthew Lillard being on set for Scream 2, and now that they set up to where potentially in Scream 8, if Stu wants to come back, you have that Easter egg in there of Well, he was spotted at Windsor, so he could still be out there.
I mean, I think they have, with this movie, they completely and totally killed the idea that and I think they did it before in Scream 5, but I think with this movie, and for sure, they completely and totally killed the idea that Stu will come back.
I disagree.
They made fun of it so much.
But because they made fun of it, I think that might still be yet another cheeky nod too. But we're gonna bring him back.
I think that would be so stupid, to be honest. I don't think you can sit there for an entire movie, act like Stu is back, and then every character is basically concluding, okay, no, it's not him. That would be like the dumbest thing in the world. And then in the next movie, have it be Stu.
But most of them were bad guys.
I don't know. It's just.
And like, also, I think that would be kind of like one of the most cheeky things that a Scream movie could do is give psych.
I definitely get what Carrie's saying, because I'm still on the line of, if I want Stu to return. I love Matthew Lillard, and I think his performance in this it's peak Stu. It's Stu the way I want him to be when he's older, which is like he's more antagonistic towards Sydney, which I love. But I think they set up enough to where I actually think the ghost face that we see in this opening scene, I think that's Stu, and I think he's actually burning his own house down as a symbol of like, this is my past, so I'm leaving my past alone. And I think it's going to be revealed in 8 that Stu was actually the one who killed these two for being in his home, treating it like a Airbnb, almost as he sees it as like them disrespecting his legacy in a way.
That's a good point. And I kind of like the idea of, that because, we'll mention it. We see an AI version of Stu Macher in this movie quite a few times. And I think like what they could do, if Carrie's wrong, I think what they could do is that is what people think Stu coming back will be, and that's what all the people who are creating these AI, visions of Stu think he would be. And yet when he actually comes back, he's calculated and smart now. He's more of a Billy than a Stu.
I think there's no way they could have, I do not think they should do this. I think it would be dumb. But if they did have Stu come back for like 8 or something, I think they would have to frame it as it wasn't AI to begin with, and it was Stu at the time, and then they lied. Because otherwise it's like he's gonna act the same and look the same as the AI version of, like, how are you gonna do? It's gonna be so dumb.
Why would he have to look and act the same?
I don't know, but then what are they gonna do? He's gonna act totally differently, and like,
I don't know.
I think what you could do, and this would be interesting, make Stu's reveal in 8, if they go this route, make his face so deformed that you can't even tell it's Matthew Lillard. Make it to where the AI version is the one we see where he's kind of scarred up and you kind of see the aftermath, but make it where he takes off the mask and he's like mangled and he's got like scars all over the place, and where he looks completely different than the one we've seen in 7.
Instead of the mask being to conceal the identity, it's like Darth Vader with his helmet. It's kind of there to keep his face in
together.
Just like, floating with your idea. That's kind of interesting.
This is just fan speculation, by the way. We don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know if that's the route that they would go down. And I don't even know if I would like that. But like, I'm just interested in any of the possibilities. And there's also a world where Carrie's right and they bring him back and it is really stupid. So I don't know. But I don't know where they would go for 8. I don't know who else that would be under the mask.
Have they confirmed they're going to do any? I mean, personally, I don't think I think they should. And I say this after every movie, they should just stop making fuck it up.
I'm pretty sure that they confirmed 8. If not, it's definitely going to happen because 7 has officially gotten the biggest box office opening of any Scream movie. So 8 is pretty much a possibility at this point.
Scream 8 is going to happen no matter what. and I'm excited for it. So we got a really cool opening scene. I like the two characters and the there. I liked the kills. I thought the kills were gnarly, crazy, and just like really dark. And I like the way they did it. I like how everything was set up, and I like how it ended in flames.
I love the part where the fake ghost face calls on the phone. Like it's the clearly the owner of the Airbnb, and he's doing the questions.
And
I
he's doing
love that
like
because
in like a really fake kind of like cheesy
yeah,
way. And then the girlfriend calls it out for this is really corny, this whole
this is
experience.
really corny, but
But
also
that's the
like
fun of novelty Airbnbs is they're supposed to be kind of corny.
yeah, I also love that he gets the first two questions right, and then the guy is trying to do mental math in his head of when Jason died, and he's like, well,
That's
he'd be
that's
9.
honestly kind of funny because all of us play trivia and
Mhm.
movie trivia, and that happens all the time where you're trying to do like some sort of complicated thing, and it's the simplest answer, and you're way overthinking it. So, do you have anything else to add about the opening?
No, I mean the opening I think sets up like the theme that we see through the rest of the movie. I think like the
Rebirth.
like
Oh,
the point, like each Scream movie generally, I don't know if Six really did this very much, but each Scream movie is like,
cleansing the rest of the franchise.
each Scream movie is like trying to make a point about modern day horror. I think this is not really about modern day horror, but about our true crime kind of obsessed culture, because they're framing it as like, oh, here's the Airbnb of the actual murders, and then the killer's motivations are based in kind of their parasocial relationships with Sydney and her reaction to the events of Six and stuff like that.
And how
So
the people at the Airbnb like feel connected to these, people from before, and yet they've never met them and they don't know them, yet they're kind of obsessed with.
I don't know if they
That's
feel
kind of
connected. They're kind of just like weirdly like.
I was trying to figure out what you're trying to say. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to
that's
say
kind of
it's
why I
like
feel like Stu.
Oh, it definitely.
I kind of feel like Stu is going to be revealed as the one in the ghost face in the opening scene, because this couple does feel like they don't add anything to the movie. Like in every single openings in the Scream movies, they always tie it back to the original. Like in the first one, it was obviously, a classmate of Cindy's. Then it was in Scream 2, the first two killers had the names of different people from Scream 1. Like there was something tying the first two victims into something, and this one didn't. So I
Yeah.
wonder if that'll be a reveal in 8 that like that was actually Stu, and that like he's
Yeah.
burning down this shrine that he thought that should be gone away, like burn it all down.
So I think we should get into talking about Sydney and their families, like kind of home life and like setting up this. They all live in kind of like this single family home. They run a coffee shop together. I think the vibe is like really like fall centric. So it feels kind of like an October,
Mm-hmm.
um,
The
cozy
theater is
way.
playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I
Yeah,
love.
on the marquee. That's really cool. Um, and I like this. I like how they set up the dynamics where Tatum is trying to wear Sydney's coat. Sydney freaks out because she hasn't seen it in forever.
Was
She's
that the
got
coat from the second movie?
she's got her trauma attached to it. And then also you have Tatum trying to figure out why Sydney never talks about her life and things that have happened to her, and like why she named her Tatum and never talks about Tatum.
Yeah, it's a good. I think it's a good setup for the family story. I think it's what gives this movie like a lot of heart and makes you actually care about the characters. Like especially, I mean, I don't know if you really in this movie care about any characters besides Sydney and her family, and then like Gail and the twins. I
And
think
you don't really care about Joel McHale's character that much,
I
other
cared
than
about
being,
him.
the dad, but he survives into the next movie. So we will see more of Joe McHale.
Maybe.
I also call BS on that, but it's also the Scream lore at this point that everyone can survive 30 stab wounds.
I love how skipping ahead just briefly, I love how Chad and Mindy both get like stabbed a couple times, and then they're just like, oh, and fall down, and then you're like, Chad and Mindy.
They're you're like,
stabbed.
they're fine.
Yeah,
They're fine. They're the twins. I absolutely love, and this is kind of jumping around a little bit. I absolutely love that they brought the running joke of Mindy not guessing the killer in every single movie. She does it in 5, gets it wrong, does it in 6 and gets it wrong, and then does it in 7 and gets it wrong.
Yeah. I thought she got one of them right in 6, but I guess I don't remember enough to.
Well, she suspected Ethan.
Yeah.
But
he was one of the killers, right?
Yeah, so she got one of the 3.
Yeah.
Mindy was on it 1/3 of the way in 6.
Yeah.
And the movie also sets up like kind of a bunch of young like teenage characters, and like honestly, like it's unfortunate, but like I think a lot of those characters are just kind of like there. And I don't know if this is like commentary on what horror movies do, is that they just have these kind of blank characters to kill, or if it just kind of like didn't bother to characterize them much. A little bit, but not a lot.
It was a little weird because like I feel like all of the teenage characters who write our main red herrings in this movie all get killed off pretty quickly.
And then you're like, this
is the first movie where I was before the final killer reveal, the first Scream movie where I was 100% certain on who the final killers revealed are. But also it wasn't that difficult because there weren't really many suspects left by the time by the time her boyfriend is killed, there's like no one left even to really suspect. So it's kind of, if they would have, I think, left some more characters alive or left them alive until like the reveal, it probably would have set up a bigger mystery.
I think that's kind of like where I'm fortunate a little bit, because I've heard multiple people at Carrie and my buddy Will say, oh, well, I guess the killer for me, I don't even think about who it could. I'm not trying to guess. So I just.
I think that's
kind of the fun thing.
I'm not saying you're wrong if you do play that game, but for me, a lot of the times I'm just letting the movie unfold.
Yeah, I mean, like.
So it was a surprise for me.
So I knew it was like from the time they introduced I don't even know if he has a name in the movie. The actor is Ethan Embry. The guy who works at the
Marco Davis.
Okay, yeah, who works at the mental hospital. Yeah, it's him because I mean I knew Stu.
He lies about Stu
because he says, "Oh yeah, that's John," and I was like, "Okay, well if it's not actually Stu, it's definitely this guy." Because
but for me, I was still trying to figure out if it was AI Stu or real Stu. Like I think the movie did play that pretty well, where I was like, "Is it?" And then I got really confused too when Tatum's boyfriend had that thing on his computer. He was playing around to like see if he could do this, and she confused it for he was doing it. And
I will say, and this is a nitpick again, it is weird that he decides at that moment to do it in his car, like all alone. Like he looks like he knows that he's suspicious. He knows that he's the number one target. I would do it in front of everybody, be like, this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm putting this together so everybody can see that I'm not just sneaking around and doing AI videos.
Maybe he made a misstep there, but, he does make it a point to put his computer, like, right there where Tatum can see it. And I think Tatum should have been like, he wouldn't have put his evidence right there, right in front of him.
I think she acted probably one of the smartest any character in Scream has acted where she saw that and she was like, that's some shady shit. I'm just gonna run. And like she just knocked him out and booked it. Like,
but she ended up like getting him killed in the process.
I don't think she gets him killed. Like,
she like probably gave him a concussion, and then he doesn't have the fortitude to save him.
She smacks him in the head with that computer.
That's what I'm saying. Is
well,
that she kind of like got him killed in that way. Okay, if it was the opposite, if it was him with the hitting a woman in the head of the computer,
I would have said if she was making those videos, that would have been a smart move for him.
I don't think you would have said that.
All right, so let's get to the reveal because this is where I literally in the theater, I turned to my wife watching it with me. I was like, is that the guy from the mental institution? And she goes, yeah, I think so. All Scream movies have this problem where like you get one or two scenes with the killer and then they're revealed to be the killer. But this one, we literally only get the one scene with him. At least in the rest of them, we get multiple scenes with the rest of the killers. I mean, the main killers, like I'm not counting like, the opening kill of Scream 6 or things like that. But like, the main killers, we always get a few scenes with them to get to know the characters. And they're usually a part of the friend group, so we get to like interact with them. This one, he was in one scene and he's revealed to be the killer. So I guess for me, it was underwhelming a little bit.
But like here's the thing, Hunter. You talk about like, what if Stu had like a cult of killers? Well, here's the case where what's her face? She had a cult of killers from the mental institution because there were two people from the insane asylum and a camp that she kind of basically talked into doing this. So for me, I kind of think about both of them as like little stews in her plan. I don't necessarily disagree with you that maybe it should have been a little bit more in there, but I think they make it a point, like even like Sydney's kind of like, wait, what, you from like forever ago? And the same thing with the other guy too, who dies early.
I would go and give it that grace, which I'm gonna give it grace anyway because I love the Scream movies, but I would have gave it more of a break if it was revealed that Ann Camp's character was Leslie Mocker. And the reason she was doing that is, one, I know my brother's alive, so I'm going to start the cult behind the scenes. You don't have to say that, but be like, well, people are fans of Stu, so I went and networked around. And then she goes, you killed my brother and then made money off of my family's torture. I lost a brother and you didn't care.
I mean, that's like a different movie you're describing. So, I mean, that's like an interesting idea, but it doesn't really have much to do with like what this movie was right here.
I know. I'm saying like I would have gave that cult theory more weight if it was that she was revealed to be the sister and that she recruited Marco and all these people and the one guy in the mask that gets killed early on. If she recruited them from the institution, and you can combine it into
I think she did
that way.
Well, I think she did, but I don't think that like a cult thing has to be related to Stu. I think they were just using Stu as kind of like a distraction, so kind of distract away from them, which for me worked. And for apparently Carrie, she was like, it didn't work at all for me.
Because they said throughout the whole movie, they were talking about how dumb it would be if it was Stu. And I'm like, so there's no way it's Stu.
But I think like it's kind of like maybe like a glass onion kind of situation where they're like, it's not this dumbest thing in the world, right? The dumbest thing in the world. So that's why I was like, I don't know if it is going to be Stu or it's going to be the, like what Carrie said. So I just wasn't sure. But let me quickly lay this out real quick. The reason why I love the Anna Camp reveal, not just because I think she's very Jill Roberts level, where she's just so insane. And honestly, I think she even goes a little bit more insane than Jill does, because just like the look on her face when she's first revealed, she's like all sweaty with that like smile, like Parker Finn is directing her or something. She gets on the face, like, you know, I outsmarted you kind of a deal. She might not have outsmarted Carrie, but she definitely outsmarted Sydney because Sydney did not realize. And then what I love about her reveal and her motivation is that it kind of harkens back to Scream 4 with Sydney in her book, Out of Darkness, where it's like she read the book and she kind of became a little bit of like a Kathy Bates, Annie Wilkes kind of situation where she's like, I love this book. This book meant so much to me. And, you know, not only that, but I, you know, kind of took and kind of like the same time as like a crime junkie, like a true crime, like, you know, where someone gets so attached to a piece of media or art or this book that she like uses it for her life inspiration. She kills her husband because of it. She kills her son because of it.
One of the best deaths in the entire franchise, in my opinion.
And
Oh my god, that was such a good
then
death.
she basically just blames Sydney, like, you're supposed to be the final girl. You know, kind of like how a lot of fans from Scream 5 and 6 were like, where's Sydney? Sydney should be the final girl. It shouldn't be the Carpenters. And this is kind of like this crazy asshole is kind of like that, going like, Sydney, you're supposed to be the center of attention, and you weren't even there in New York. And, you know, I just thought that was kind of brilliant the way that they kind of laid that out. So, like, for me, on a second watch, I was like, actually, this works for me a lot. But I know for a lot of people, it doesn't.
I gotta rewatch it. I think it would have been better for me if they didn't reveal Marco as the other killer. I think it would have been better. And you can call me crazy. This is just, again, this is just how I would do it. If you want to keep that, have Ann Camp and her son be revealed as the killers. It's a mother and son. They teamed up together to take out the dad who was abusive, and then they both are fans of Sydney. They're both are fans of, because in the movie, her son is a true crime junkie. Like, he's running around. He's like, oh my god, you're Gail Weathers. You're Sydney Prescott. Like, he calls her by Prescott instead of Evans. So
Yeah.
I think it would be too obvious, but the idea of, oh, this is different because it's a mother and son working together as Ghostface, I think that would have been a great reveal.
Yeah, I think that even if like they didn't do that, I kind of wish they would have kept that character alive, or at least like one of the other like newer characters, like that one in particular, just because I thought he was kind of interesting. Like he, you know, like you said, because of that, like maybe he's a killer and he survives at the end or something like that.
He kind of felt like Randy if Randy was a true crime nerd instead of a movie nerd.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they killed him to like make it seem like it wasn't going to be Anna Camp, because would she kill her own son? Everything. I personally did not. I thought that kill was kind of like out of character for the Scream franchise. Like, it was like kind of a Halloween Kills kind of kill, and the CGI on that kill was bad. That first shot where the beer is coming out of his mouth, when they do it head on and it's all CG, it looks horrible.
I don't think
then they turn the camera and then it's the practical effects, and that looks fantastic. They should have just done that, but
I don't think it looks terrible, but I don't think it looks the best either. But I'm normally forgiving with stuff like that, because I just think it's supposed to be like kind of like a silly kill anyway.
I turned to Chad in the theater and I was like, that was goofy. Like,
it's definitely goofy.
It was.
And that's kind of like what I like about it.
Maybe I'm overstepping by saying best in the franchise. It just caught me so off guard that I was like, that is insane. Like lifting up a person, like putting them on a beer keg and then letting the beer flow out of his mouth. It's so unique for the Scream franchise, and I kind of love it.
And I think, like, you know, just kind of like we're going to start wrapping up soon. We should at least go through some of the kills. That's a good one. We already talked about like the beginning with the knife through the head and the girl falling on the knife. which are both really cool. But then also,
McKenna Grace.
I was
yeah,
about to
that
say,
was I thought that was the best kill in the movie.
it's about to say, McKenna Grace. I thought she was probably going to survive into the next movie, but she has a pretty great kill here that's set up really well with the problems of being on the wire, her foot getting caught in the little bag, and her kind of like this is like not working.
She has one of my like the lines that I laughed at so hard in the theaters, like before the scene where she's like, what she's like,
This is just my diva persona kind of a deal.
Yeah. She's like,
you don't know that
diva persona, and then she goes, "Not to you. I'm still mad at you."
You don't know that.
You don't know that yet.
It was just she's like one of the best, I think, and more well-known actresses.
Yeah.
And to have her not be the opening kill, but be killed off so early, I thought it was kind of a waste of her talents.
A little bit.
But it was a great kill.
At least maybe she could have survived like towards the, closer to the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then like maybe go back to the theater, a little bit later. But, it's still a cool kill regardless.
Yeah.
But I think maybe you could have killed one of the lesser known actors in that way. And have McKenna Grace and Tatum at the ends be kind of like together a little bit. But I mean, I guess she's kind of like the Rose McGowan of this movie.
Yeah.
She's the Tatum of this movie.
But the original Tatum made it like until the third act. It's just
beginning of the third act, I guess.
Yeah, because she gets the beer for the parties, and then she gets killed. I will say, love the way that Anna Kemp's character went out. Both and Tatum just shooting her in the head multiple times, just till her brain explodes. I'm like, oh, that's badass, man.
You get to see them team up, and like part is like so intense and so suspenseful, and then like the whole movie, Tatum is like, I can't do this. I can't be you. And like you don't kind of want her to be, and Sydney doesn't want her to be, but Sydney also like realizes it's kind of like a Finding Nemo situation where she's like, if I don't prepare her, like this is what my life is. And that's what the villains say is like, your life is trauma. You can't escape this. This is just what your life is. And so then Tatum and Sydney both realize like she has to learn how to protect herself. And, she can maybe distance herself from it a little bit, but she can't be a sitting duck.
We haven't really talked about Gale either. I think Gale has one of the strongest opening for a character. She literally just shows up and runs over Ghostface.
Yeah,
which I'm like, fuck yeah.
Our theater first of all, when that SUV runs over the our theater burst into applause, was cheering. And then when Gale steps out of it, everyone like lost their minds. It was great.
Yes.
Yeah, Gale. I mean, Gale. I mean, they kind of like Gale, Chad, and Mindy are kind of just they're just there, kind of a deal. But then
I think Gale actually has a lot more to do in this one than she does in 6.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. But like, it's not. She's not like integral like she is in like the first couple movies. But I do think they still add like a layer of familiarity that helps ground us to the movie. Like if they didn't show up, the movie's lesser.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
The only thing I will say is I wish we had more time spent with Chad and Mindy. Because I like the idea of Mindy being like studying under Gale as someone who follows true crime, somebody who wants to be a reporter.
I think we'll probably get more of that in 8, maybe, depending on if people continue on and stuff like that. But it was funny to see like Mindy try and like, it doesn't have to be Gale. I could do this. And then like, at the end, she finally gets to, and she's not very good at it.
I mean, they were great in the movie. It was a little sad to see them. Their role was the comic relief in this movie, and that's what their role was limited to, which was a little.
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but like Mindy still gets to do her like rules a little bit here.
She
and there.
tries, and then they're like, "No, we're not doing it for this movie."
It's kind of funny, like when they subvert a little bit here and kind of do it a little bit differently here and there, which makes it a little bit fresher. So,
and Mindy does nail down the motive of the killer, though, that the killer is obsessed with the Sydney of the past.
Yeah.
And,
Yes. Oh, that was like a brilliant.
Love the interview with Gail and Sydney. Gail finally gets her interview, and I love that it shows a slightly bitchier side of Gail, which I love, which we all know is there from the original movie. She pressures Cindy so much into like, why'd you name your daughter Tatum? Like she gets into that investigative journalist and she stops being a friend when the camera's on.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of back and forth there too, though, because I think Sydney says basically like, "Oh, Tatum was the last person I really trusted." Like, meanwhile, she's been kind of like, she and Gail have been teaming up and killing ghost faces, for 3 decades now, and like you can see Gail's kind of like a little. She doesn't really show it, but she's a little not offended, but I think
hurt.
Hurt by that comment.
She doesn't really want to talk about I think things.
Well, I think that's what kind of leads, like, if Sydney hadn't maybe hurt her feelings a little bit, would Gail have kept pushing as hard as she did? Maybe she would have anyways, because I think that's in Gail's character to do either way. But yeah.
Well, that they also mentioned Dewey, where Sid's like, I would never ask you about Dewey on TV. Like how would you feel going through that? And Gail goes, I go through it every day. And you see her taking, I believe it's anxiety medicine out of her purse. Like she's dealing with being overwhelmed with Dewey's death by taking medication, by feeling somewhat okay and trying to move on. But it's hard for her, you can tell.
All right, so it looks like, we've changed it up a little bit to 2 kind of just like our closing thoughts on Scream 7 and then, our ranking. As you can tell, my voice is slowly getting worse, so I got to go rest it up. But Hunter, just close out your thoughts on Scream 7.
Yeah, so as I was saying through this whole review, Scream 7 is a great new entry in the Scream franchise. I think it has probably the weakest reveal and motivation of the series, but that's just me personally. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I had such great fun being back with these characters. Love the legacy characters, love the new characters, love the kills. So to me, this is a very good Scream movie.
Yeah, I agree. While I like the reveal like a little bit more than Hunter does, I also understand that, in some ways this can feel like a mixed bag. It's just kind of like a new direction for the franchise. It wasn't really where they were originally going to go with it. And then they kind of, were like, well, we're losing a few people. Let's change it up. Kevin Williamson's going to direct it. What do we do now? And I think where they go, it's a little strange. It's a little new. It's a little scary in that way. But if they're really going to continue to 8 and past 8, maybe even, I think this is a really interesting direction for them to go, to build up a new character like Tatum, to continue new characters like Gail and Sydney, and maybe even Stu. If we do get a Stu at the end of the day, that could be fun. Or if Carrie's right, and that would be dumb, and then they're all saying, no, that's dumb. We're not doing that. We're going to do something new. Then I'm excited to see where they go in the future after that. But yeah, I don't think all the characters are serviced the absolute best they could be. But I do think for this movie, a lot of them are really interesting. And I really love the fall vibes that it has. I'm going to really look forward to watching this in October. A lot of the times kind of has that Curse of Michael Myers vibe where it's like, you know, maybe not the best movie of all time, but it really gets you in the mood for going to drink some pumpkin spice lattes.
Hmm.
Um, I love that it has so much heart to it. And I'm just really excited to see where they take the franchise now. And, maybe they can mend ties and bring the Carpenters back at some point. I would love that. I don't know if it's going to happen, but, you know, at least we still got Chad and Mindy in the mix, and it's still really interesting. So I'm excited for the future of it.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, I thought this was really fun, and like despite its flaws, I think it suffers from like a lot of the flaws are the same as in almost every other Scream movie.
Hmm.
So like they don't bother me. I had so much fun with this movie. I think it was great to see Sydney on screen again, and see her family. I thought was a great storyline, and see her and Gail again. And even though there wasn't as much of like Chad and Mindy as I would have liked, it was still really fun to see them again. Like overall, like a solid Scream movie, and I was not in any way disappointed by it.
And let's hope Kirby comes back in Scream 8.
Yeah,
So-
if they make
Well,
it,
Kirby-
I'd love to see Kirby.
Kirby is supposed to be getting her own spinoff movie.
Oh, I forgot about. Oh my, that was teased so long
So
ago
early.
that I
So
forgot.
early, yeah.
That would be incredible. I'm actually would be kind of excited about that. But
It's supposed to be, as far as I know, it's supposed to be Kirby still in New York. It's supposed to be like his own separate thing. Which, if that's the case, I'm okay with that.
and here's the other thing too that I just recently thought about. What I think we should do. I don't know if you've watched this, Hunter, but I think we should all watch or rewatch the Scream series
Ooh,
season rankings, or not rankings, but season reviews. So,
that would be fun.
so I've been wanting to watch those, but
I
without
remember liking the first season, but hating the mask.
as they go on, I think they bring the Ghostface mask
Yeah.
into it. So, yeah, the mask is kind of weird, but I'm interested to see what it's about. So, and if Hunter, you said you've seen the first season.
I've seen the first season, but it's been a very long time.
I've also seen the first season. It's also been a long time.
You watched it without me?
Yes, this was years ago, and you knew I was watching it without you at the time.
I forgot. Now I'm freshly mad about
This was,
Yeah.
we were definitely at our old house, if not the condo. It was like around the time, I think I watched it right after it finished airing, and then I never went back to it for the second season.
Mhm.
Well, I'm still interested to check it out, and maybe
Yeah.
it'll be some good bad fun, or I don't know. It'll be interesting to discuss. But without further ado, let's get into our rankings. We've done this before, but like I said, these rankings are always ever changing. But Hunter, if you want to start with your ranking, go from 7 to 1.
All right. So my number 7 is Scream 4. My number 6 is Scream 3. My number 5 is Scream 2. My number 4 is Scream 7. My number 3 is Scream 6. My number 2 is Scream 5, aka Scream 2022. And my number 1 is Scream 1996.
Oh my God, Hunter!
On rewatches, I found I love Scream 5 a lot more than I did before. Every time I rewatch it, I find something new that I like about it.
Because I remember Hunter used to love Scream 4, and now it's
I did. On a rewatch though, like I can't get over the camera, the smeared camera thing. I think that really takes away from me enjoying it. But I I love the killers though.
So we'll have to see where Scream 5 ranks in the overall. I don't actually know what Carrie has it, but I have Scream 5 at number 7. I have Scream 3 at number 6. Right now, I have Scream 7 at number 5. I
Okay.
have Scream 4 at number 4. I have Scream 6 at number 3. There's a huge disparity between 5 and 6. Then I have Scream 2 at number 2. the original Scream at number 1.
All right, my ranking, I've already changed it like 3 times since we started this. It's so hard. My top 2 are locked in probably for life, and then
Same.
after that, it's
Same.
how I feel. Like I love all of these so much. It's really hard to say. Okay. So, but this is at the moment. I have Scream 7 at 7, Scream 5 at 6, Scream 6 at 5, Scream 3 at 4, Scream 4 at 3, Scream 2 at 2, and the original Scream at number 1.
Okay. And you really know she loves all of these movies because Scream 7 is at 7 and she gave that 5 stars on Letterboxd. So
Well, I realized I gave every Scream 5. I gave it 4 originally, and then I realized I gave Scream 3 5 stars. So I was like, I've got to give it 5 stars. I can't leave it at 4.
There's no bad Scream movies, guys.
I
I
agree.
agree with that. Okay,
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna change my bottom 3 around. I'm pretty sure Scream 4 will be at 7, but then the middle ones are fighting. Like my first 2 and my last one are locked, and then everything in the middle can be rearranged.
Yeah.
I don't know. Scream 4 for some reason just keeps getting worse and worse on rewatch. Like not
It
a
does
bad
for me
movie,
too.
not a bad movie because there's no bad Scream movies, but there's just more things I noticed that I pick apart.
I had
every
it.
time
I
watch
had it
it.
when I first did the ranking. I think I had it like towards the end, and I was like, "But I have so much nostalgia for it. I remember watching it, all these times." But I think before rank them, I'm gonna readjust it. But we'll see. All right, I think I can do this without writing it out more. Okay, tied for last at number 6 because we have a tie. Scream 3 and Scream 7. And then at number 5, we have Scream 5. At number 4, we have Scream 4. At number 3, Scream 6. At number 2, Scream 2. And at number 1, Scream.
I don't hate that overall ranking.
I don't like that either.
All right, guys. That was our kind of discussion about Scream 7. There's no ruling out us, getting this movie on Blu-ray and, watching it and then doing a deeper discussion where we could kind of talk about like everything at length. Like I honestly want to do a lot of like Scream analyses videos and stuff like that, so we love this franchise, so we're never going to tire of talking about it. But
it's inked on my body for life. Like
there you go. And Carrie will tell you, Hunter loves Ice 9 Kills. I find them very overrated. I don't like them all that much, but Scream 7 had me on such a high that I was even jamming out to the knife.
I love Twisting Knife. I've been hooked on that song since it came out. It's so good.
It's a good song.
This is pretty catchy. I don't think it's that good, but I think it was like it's pretty catchy. If you hit you in the right mood, you can kind of jam out to it. But,
McKenna Grace's vocals on that song, incredible.
But yeah, go ahead and let us know respectfully in the comments what you thought about Scream 7. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, but just
I'm trying for John to be in the comments being like, "You're all wrong."
Kevin Williamson is a hack. But yeah, we love Kevin Williamson. But yeah, let us know in the comments like, what you thought. Like, try to like maybe be analytical about it because we really want to know like what do you like in a Scream film, what don't you like, and let us know where you think Scream 8 could go because, Hunter loves to look at speculation and
I do
where this is going to go. And
I do. It's so fun.
Let us know. And, make sure to check out a lot of our other videos, like and subscribe. And Hunter, go ahead and close it out, buddy.
All right. So if you guys did enjoy this, please hit that like button, subscribe to Welcome to Primetime. And remember, stay scared.